with about 10 years of experience. Let's ship some features. We're going to work on up to 4 features in this stream. The theme here is improving the Latterly checklist and the settings page. So here's the website latterly.io, where you can go right now to sign up and learn to code with a checklist right here that walks you step by step through not only how to program, but also how to land a job. In today's stream, we want to improve the checklist with a feature called Advanced Checklist Access. So for as little as $1 per month, you can access an advanced checklist. That checklist currently exists, but it's not available in the UI. So we're going to update that. I have also recently released a new YouTube video on search. So even the free basic checklist, I want to include this search step. This video is open for anyone to go watch on my YouTube channel. Programming with John. And you can get to it by going over to my channel and looking for the video called Search Techniques for Coding, Prompt Engineering, Googling, and Social Learning. Let me grab this link. We're going to use this link, search URL. And I'll drop that there. The checklist currently dumps links as plain text, for example, right here. I would like to change this to be a better user experience. And so that is one of the elements under the second feature today, Better Checklist Items. Checklist items should optionally have a link and link text property, and the system can embed a properly formatted link. We also want a couple other improvements, a detailed explanation or detailed text that explains why a checklist item is important. I may consider using a question mark icon that explains on hover, an accordion component, or similar. We could also just use a nested list of items. Grammarly is upset that I'm not signed in. Thanks for joining, everyone. We're still getting started. Let me know where you're joining in from. And a settings page that will let you update your name. So currently users don't have their names in the system. Finally, there is a bug with the user checklist item so that everyone is currently sharing state on this checklist. If you log into prod right now, and if you check the 4 and uncheck the 4, it will do that for all users. We're truly in alpha. So trying to knock that out today and have users have an isolated state of their own checklist. So let's dive in. Here I am on the main branch. I pulled just before starting the stream, so I have the latest here. I'm going to create a feature branch, first feature that we'll work on. And I'd like the first feature that we work on to be this Better Checklist Items, because having the link here seems to be a prerequisite to adding the search URL in a nice way. And that's a top priority for me. Frankly, I'm falling into the classic problem where they're all top priorities because the other two are bugs and they should be fixed post haste. So we'll get as far as we can, but I'm going to do this one first. So I'll use the feature number, which is 47, to name my branch. So I'll get checkout -B 47 better checklist items. Get branch to confirm that the switch was successful, even though it already says that I switched branches. So checkout -B will create and then check out the branch. And what should we do to start implementing this feature? Expand checklist items to have a property. So we're adding a new property, 2, 3, 4 new properties over to the schema file. So I'm going to close all these. I'm going to Control P, type the word schema. I'm here in VS Code. And I'm particularly interested in the Prisma schema for my Latterly 3 project. I'm in a VS Code multi-root setup, so I need to be Careful because many of my projects will have a file by the name of schema.prismo, but I'm interested in this particular one. Oh, and then I clicked the thing. I don't know. So there's like a button, there's like a space somewhere in the side over here you can click, and it does that expansion thing. I'm not really sure how to get rid of it, so I have to close the whole file and open it again. All right, so we're tracking. So here is the checklist. I don't want to alter the checklist. I want to alter the checklist items. So I'm looking for model checklist item. Okay. Display index, display text. Now I would like to add detail text, maybe even justification text. The question is, why does this thing exist? So I will go for detail text. This is a string. I might need to make it nullable. We will see. Let me go ahead and do this one at a time. So here I will npm run migrate. Cool, now we have about 20 people in the building now on TikTok. Thanks for being here. You can go to YouTube, link is in my bio, and see the full screen. So Prisma has connected to the database. The npm run migrate command is under the hood calling Prisma. Okay, and we see that it could not be executed because it's not nullable. So I can assign a default value here of an empty string, or I could make it nullable. I think an empty string is fine. So here we'll add a default. Let's try this again. I expect it will succeed this time. What are we adding next? We will add a required field. And required would be true by default. We could also call this field optional and make it false by default. Those are sort of isomorphic. The name for the new migration will be item detail text. Always Legendy says, what are you working on? I'm working on laterally.io. Here's the website. Link is in my bio. You can go sign up now. This is a website that helps you learn to code and land a programming job. And currently, we are improving this standard checklist. So if I go here, I have a link. So as a user, I'm trying to work through this checklist, and one of the tasks is to watch this video. But I would have a better user experience if I can click the link instead of having to copy and paste. That's what we're working on currently. Cool, so we migrated the detail text, and now I want to migrate the required field. We'll call it isRequired to respect the Boolean convention. So this is also a Boolean, and the default will be true. So by default, when you add a task, it will be required. And then we will explicitly mark the rare case when it's optional. I could migrate this independently, but let's see if I can do these. And these are strings, string fields. So I can adopt the same default empty string pattern for these. So this will be link text and link URL is what I will call them. So here we have link text, which is a string, and link URL, which is a string. In theory, this could be a URI. I might be able to do a relative path on the site. I haven't really thought through if I want to do that. Let's enable it. Why not? It doesn't hurt anything. So we'll call it a URI instead of a URL. The difference there being it could be a partial URL, just a path. I'm not sure I'm going to allow that, but it doesn't hurt anything. Oh, hey, there's, sorry, I was ignoring Twitch. Sorry about that. Here. And Anish is on YouTube. How does TikTok have a better reach than YouTube for a coding live stream I'll never understand? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how the algorithms work. Conan says, I missed you, man. Thanks for being here. And Prince of Living says, what are you doing? Is it exploit? No, we're not exploiting anything. Boko says, what are you making, bro? The answer is that we're working on this website called Latterly, latterly.io. The link is in my bio. This is a website that helps people learn to code. We're specifically trying to improve the checklist feature currently. Oh, wow, big lag. So in this checklist, there is a task to watch this video. As a user, I would like this URL to be well formatted as a clickable link so that I don't have to copy and paste the string. I can just click a link. That would be much better, wouldn't it? Okay, so let's carry on. So I have detail text is required, link text, link URI. And now I'm going to migrate additional fields that I've added in this single migration. What's the tech stack? We're using Next.js, Drizzle over Prisma, never, never, never. Never, never, never. Why are you storing UI text in a database? That's where you store it, because it's configurable. I would like to be able to update the checklist without having to change hard-coded values on the UI. Data goes in the database. You shouldn't be hard-coding your data. So are you making a clickable button? It will be a link technically, so a link is not a button technically. I don't know if you, like I'm not trying to split hairs, but technically those are different things. If you want to take a step back and speak casually and think about it at a high level, yeah, it's pretty much a button. But if you're like a front-end subject matter expert and you want to speak precisely, technically this would be a link, not a button. Enter the name for a new migration. We will call this links for checklist items. Good questions in the chat. Glad to see y'all. Hey, tap the video and give it some likes, especially if you're getting helpful answers to the questions. And that will send the video around the TikTok algorithm, and we can help more people learn to code. Boca, thank you so much. Okay, so the restoration completed. Great. Now I have two migration files over here. Now I'm going to double check whether this pushed my database already. Checklist item table. Jake says, I'm a senior PM. When will this be ready? What's up, Jake? If the PM's in the room, I can get this done in 2 weeks. Okay, and so we can see that the migrations have already been applied. I have a detail text column, link text, and link URI. Those are empty strings, and the is required. Now this case, I have volunteered is an optional field. So the is required value should be false. So let's tackle that. Let's tackle that. I need to basically update my seed file. So I'm going to reseed the database in place, which will mutate these existing records. Jake says, I'll update the slides. Thanks, man. You got it. Thanks for being here. So there's two ways that there's multiple ways that I can do this. One way that's pretty lightweight is if it includes the substring optional within my seed file, then I can alter the Boolean from true to false. That is basically lightweight and arguably hacky. The more complicated way to do this is that my existing seeds, I can alter the approach from string array into an object of. So let me show you my checklist JSON. So this is a seed file. You can see that the checklist items are just plain text. And so here's the case of optional. I could detect optional substring, and then the system would know to seed this with a Boolean value of false for required. That would not fix my link issue. That would not fix my link issue. So ultimately, I need to have object support in at least some of these cases. I could force all of the items to be objects. That will really grow the size of this checklist, and it will include a lot of redundant boilerplate. I think what I would like to do is allow the string, and I'll do a type check within my seed. It's going to be a string or an object. If it is a string, I will proceed under the assumption there is no link and it is required. And if there's an object, I can parse out all those additional new goodies that I care about. Boko says, is this done by only you? Well, it is open source. So let me show you the repository. You're welcome to contribute. I have a couple issues here that are tagged as a good first issue. One of them I'm doing though, so maybe you can take a look at the sign up page number 45 if you're interested in contributing. So in principle, it's open source and others could contribute, but in practice, I'm the only one working on it today. There have been other people who have indicated interest, but I haven't seen any pull requests yet. Sudsrock, good to see you, long time. Thanks for the follow, David. Thanks for the follow, Frosty Cakes. Quick reminder, you can go to YouTube and see the full screen. Okay, so let's proceed. So the way that I'd like to proceed, I've decided, is to support this string approach and also to support the object. Now here's a question. If I'm supporting the string, should I also allow... I think no. I don't want to be parsing the string for too many magic substrings. There's going to have to be one for the link injection, but I don't want to use them if I don't need to. Anish says, I'm curious, do you have a reason to use SQL over NoSQL for this particular project other than being more familiar with SQL? The answer is yes, there are structured relations in this data. So checklist has many, right? There's uniqueness constraints, and then a checklist has minimums. It's owned by a user. So there is a structural relation. And I might want to do data analysis later on. I definitely want to do data analysis later on. So I'll be able to see certain types of users are performing well on certain quizzes. Maybe certain quiz items are too difficult and need to be adjusted. Maybe particular flashcards are going to have a poor rating. This will also be eventually a social quality tool. So it will be merged with a different project, RYG. That's not coming up. Let me look. I don't want to get too off track, but there's another project that's also open source. It's red, yellow, green. So RYG is the abbreviation. Sorry about that. So this is a different tool. It's a social quality platform. And I would like to merge these two projects at some point. And this tool helps you identify if your YouTube videos and your TikTok videos and all social media content is of a high quality. And then I would want to do correlational analysis on that data. So that's pretty far in the future, but that is a good reason to use SQL. The Little Giant says, always default to SQL. Don't use NoSQL unless you have specific constraints for the project. I think that's probably pretty good advice. And in any case, I think Postgres in particular is awesome. So I really am a fan of the infrastructure primitive here. If I was doing NoSQL, what would I be doing? Mongo? Something closed source? No thanks. Dynamo? Dynamo is great, but I don't want an S3 account. So like, what are we dealing with? I think the Concreta of Postgres is awesome. Boko says, how many years of experience you got? You seem to know a lot. I have 10 years of experience, and thanks for the compliment. That's kind of you. Okay, thanks for being here. So let's get back to this. So what we're doing is altering my seed file, strings or objects. So let me crack open the seed file here. And I'm also going to, make ChatGPT do this. This is something that ChatGPT is very well suited for. So here I am with the code interpreter. Let's explain, let's do role. We are both expert TypeScript developers. Context. Oh, we are both expert developers. We are familiar with Blitz.js, Next.js, React.js, and other related technologies. Context. We are working in a Blitz.js project with the following Prisma schema fragment. Oh, this is the seed file. Oops. That's fine. It needs both of them for context. So I'll change this from the, so that will say TypeScript 1, 2, 3. So I will put the Prisma schema fragment there, and then I will say, here is our existing seed file. Okay, the Prisma schema fragment of interest is the checklist item. And I'll go ahead and include the checklist. I mean, I think it's intuitive enough for the system to figure it out. A language model should be able to understand that a checklist has checklist items. But I'll put it there just for kicks. Alazar, thank you for the follow. Quick reminder, y'all, you can go over to YouTube and see the full screen. And tap the video on TikTok to give it some likes if you don't mind, so that TikTok will send it around and more people can learn to code. Okay, so we have given it the context of the Prisma schema fragment file. So we did role context, and now we're going to prompt with task. Update the seed file so that checklist item seed data from the checklists.json file can be either a string or an object. If it's string, do not use the default values for link text, link URI, and what was the other one? Link text, link URI, and is required. If the checklist item seed element is an object, allow non-default values to be parsed out and seeded. Ask if you have any clarifying questions before proceeding. Cool. That is a big old prompt, boys and girls. Alazar says, I like how specific you are with your prompts. You should make a template on how to make these prompts. Hey, Alazar, check this out. Just today, I dropped a video on search techniques. Search techniques for coding, prompt engineering, Googling, and social learning. I cover 3 prompt engineering techniques here, including the role task technique that I just used. Also, reflection and chain of thought prompting. So you can check this out for those 3 techniques. If you'd like a deep dive that goes to additional techniques like tree of thoughts and so on, I may be open to doing that. I would charge for that though. So let me know if you would be willing to pay for that as, I don't know, $20, $30, $40 course, something like that. That would be an advanced topic, not essential to the basic path of getting a programming job, but I am open to doing that if there's enough support and demand. Binary Gibbs, what are the words you use for ChatGPT? I don't know. Is that a joke? I don't know. What are the 3 keywords to use? Alazar, wow, you're a beast. Thank you so much. That's kind of you to say. Anish says, honestly, sometimes I feel like it'll take me the same amount of time to write the code as explaining. Yeah, that's totally true. So I don't always use ChatGPT. You need to know when to use it. But reformatting a seed file, if I have to go through and reformat these seeds into objects, that's like the exact sort of task where ChatGPT can make it much quicker. I also assume that the checklist JSON will look something like this. Look at this. Bro nailed it. Bro nailed it. Does this accurately? So we have name version items. Name version items. You are correct about the shape of, although each top level entry does have a version property in addition to the name and items properties. Okay, so that's good. To ensure we're on the same page, I understand the task as follows. Currently contains checklists where each checklist has a name. Good. We want to allow these items to also be on the objects. Display text link, good, good, good. Which are empty, empty, true, empty, empty, and true, respectively, according to the schema. Very good. Oh, I forgot about details. Details. I got display text and details mixed up. Detail text. You're correct about the shape of checklist.json, although each top. We should also treat the optional detail text property in the same way that we are treating link text. Go ahead and provide, I'll say we are on the same page. Go ahead and provide the updated seed script. Cameron, do you ever use it to write tests? Absolutely. Not so much for my personal projects. Maybe I should. But yeah, it's great for writing tests. What is this Trump spam? Dwight, chill, bro. I'm going to have to silence you if you... That's like you're spamming up the chat, dude. Hunter says Llama 2 is out today. All right. Yeah, I need mods or something. Cool. So I think I muted Dwight there. So that spam kind of flooded out a bunch of the comments. So I'm sorry about that, y'all. So repeat your question if you don't mind. Boca, I think he meant role and tasks. That's right, role task prompting. And Binary Gibbs says role context task. That's right. I also like to isolate the context. Interpolated string. Is this ChatGPT Premium? Yes, it is. Quick reminder, y'all, you can see the full screen if you go over to YouTube. All right, so GPT has generated this TypeScript code. Very good. Okay, so I'm copying the script. I am here in the seed file, Control AVS. That will show a git diff over here, which I will click, and then I will review line by line. Please never blindly accept code from ChatGPT. It's a great tool, but you are going to want to review it line by line every time. Poppy Sensei, you working late tonight. What's up, Poppy? Thanks for being in the house. Yeah, dude, I just wasn't tired. Schaefer's here too. We got the army out, y'all. We got Poppy Sensei and Schaefer. NPCs taking over. Yeah, they spammed the chat, dude. I had to ban them. Like, I don't care if you want to roll up and say something crazy once or twice, but don't spam the chat. I don't like banning people, so it makes me feel pretty bad that I had to do that, but whatever. Oh, that's funny. There's Poppy, and then there's a different user called Poopy. That is hilarious. Quick reminder, y'all, you can go over to YouTube and see the full screen. Thanks for throwing the likes on it. Okay, so previously, we were looping through items and we were just getting an item. Back in the old days, as it were. It was just a string. It was just a string. Now, the script is going to test whether the type is a string or an object. Okay, so here's the old seed file. It's an array of strings. And then here's the new seed file. It's an array of strings that sometimes there is an object. And in fact, I'm going to grab this one, and we are going to update two of these. So let's update this one that says that it's optional. Okay. So here's the display text. It's the same as it was. The link text will be empty. Does this support an empty link text? It does. Look, it says link text or empty, link URI or empty. So I am free, and then it allows required as undefined. So I am free to put as little data as I want here. Cool. Which is really preserving the value of JavaScript. One of the benefits of JavaScript and dynamic typing is that I can do things like this. Poopy says, what's your advice for a new grad in regards to how AI will augment software development? Well, first, it would be able to improve your username so that you can put it on a resume. So social media is going to be critical to establishing your personal and professional brand, so you should probably your username away from Poopy. And you can use AI to augment that and optimize your name. Yeah, no, it's great. We know that AI tools disproportionately benefit juniors. There's research on this, productivity research. Because seniors like me, I already know how to code, bro. Like, how much help are you going to give me? It's really just going to automate boring tasks. For juniors, there's a lot of cases where the junior doesn't even know what they should be doing. So code completion from GitHub, like GitHub Copilot or GPT or Claude is really, really valuable for juniors. And it also improves our productivity because we don't have to go through Google searches and like read a bunch of articles like we did in the old days. The LLM can just tell you the most relevant answer based on your English question. And I think this is really funny because my generation was so proud of Googling skill. And we would laugh at the older generation who had to read books. They had to spend so much time reading through books, and we just got to do Google searches. But now the new generation doesn't even need to do Google searches. They can just ask GPT, and it does the search for them. I saw a video that says you're able to have ChatGPT test the code until it accomplishes the objective. You can do some stuff like that if you prompt it correctly. Yeah. Loud Monkey, thanks for the follow. Poopy, how do you think it will affect the job market? That is a complicated question, bro. That's um, I don't know. I think it remains to be seen. So there's forces in both directions. So on the one hand, with AI, you can do the same amount of work with fewer developers. But on the other hand, employers have an incentive to continue to invest until the marginal benefit of their employee labor expenditure is equal to the marginal cost. So AI is going to drive up the marginal benefit. So you could argue that it's going to enable new higher paid jobs. But we also have supply and demand effects. So if there's a large supply of developers, and we know there is, you have effects moving in both directions. So I think it really remains to be seen. I actually think things are pretty much going to move sideways. I don't think it's going to get much better or much worse. Not, at least not very quickly. I mean, obviously, over a number of decades, it will. To improve to the point of encroaching on senior engineers. Well, I just talked about how it helps seniors. So I think this word encroaching is a wrong word. In economics, we would talk about the substitution effect. And the way that the substitution effect impacts senior labor market is not really by getting them fired. It's not. It's by slowing the hiring rate. And even the word senior is like misleading because we're moving away from age-based seniority into skill-based. So you have some old dudes that don't know how to prompt engineer, they're in trouble. But if you have people who know how to develop and know how to prompt engineer, they're going to be more valuable than they were in the past. They're going to be even more valuable. How long have you been coding? About 10 years. I don't think it will affect the market unless developers don't want to learn AI. That's not a, yeah, so I agree with you. That's not a market problem, though. That's just going to be some people. It will negatively impact those people who are not willing to learn. Absolutely. That's how tech has always been. That's not new. Tech has always been a problem if you don't like learning new things. And it's always been a huge benefit if you do like learning new things. Good combo in the chat. I love to see it. Throw a like on the video. Make sure to follow, share the video if you have some interested others. And quick reminder, you can see the full screen if you go to YouTube. The link is in my bio. Okay, let's get back to it. So I'm going to drop the link text here in the link URI. So we have this dynamic schema, which is supported by the CTS file. We can go ahead and alter this object above here as well. Let's see if I still have this on my clipboard. No, I don't. Let me grab this object here. Okay, so here is the display text. Here is the link URI. Here I'm going to drop is required because it is required and it will default to true. Here I will grab the trial by fire as the link text. And here's where the magic string comes in. Cool. So the link text here watched the trial by fire and reproduced it. We will build and inject a hyperlink there. That's what we're going to do. Anish says, not to be rude, but do you have any channel recommendations other than yours who write code to an actual production product and not just pre-recorded MERN application? I don't know. Does Primogen still live code? Haas, George Holtz, Hotz. Sorry for screwing up his name. I think this guy, it's not YouTube, it's Twitch, but I think he live codes on Twitch. There's Primogen. Does Theo code anymore? I don't know. I haven't seen Theo do live coding maybe ever. He does a lot of good stuff, but I don't know about actually coding. Anish says, I see Prime talk a lot. Yeah, his rants get over onto YouTube. You know what? You got a good point. I think these days he mostly talks. He does some code, but I think it's mostly on Twitch. The answer is that there are live coders, but they're mostly on Twitch. I don't know a lot of live coders who publish over to YouTube like I do. I recommend from Twitch, and then we'll get back to the main task. Coding with Luke. Coding with Luke is someone on Twitch that you should follow. And he might be the only one. What about Alt F4 stream? Maybe the Alt F4 stream? DevOps work. Yeah, so if you count DevOps work as coding, then maybe this guy. Spartan, I don't know. I can't remember if Spartan is a coder. Melody Dev. Oh, Melody did some coding. I think she's more like games. Like she's coding games, if I remember. Coding Garden. Yeah, Coding Garden. Okay. So check out these three. We'll leave it at that. Check out Coding Garden, Coding with Luke, and Melody Dev. Check them out. Alan says, what's the program? The answer is Latterly.io. The link is in my bio. This is a website that allows you to learn to program and land a programming job. We're working on this checklist in particular. As a user, I would like to be able to click a link here instead of just getting plain text. So we have this case, and I want to do one more case with the, I want to do a couple other things. HTML. Watched the trial by fire and reproduced it. I have a GitHub with vanilla.js and HTML single page blog hosted on GitHub. I have learned basic. I feel fairly confident that let's say I feel fairly confident that I have learned basic CSS. I feel fairly confident that I have learned basic HTML, including forms and semantic HTML. I feel like the wording is awkward on that, but it's open source, so you can go do a pull request to make it better. Thoughts on LeetCode? You know, if you want a big tech job, you got to do it. That's my thought. It's not fantastic, but it's the game we play, eh? Jason, what stack are you working on? The answer is Next.js. Oh, by the way, let me show you something about LeetCode. 5 to 23 patterns article. So I wrote a guide for how to study. Oh, you can just search for 5 to 23 and it comes up right up top. That's awesome. So I wrote this article. So if you want to learn LeetCode, I recommend you do it this way. So that's me. That's your boy. Give me a holler. And I think it's in the checklist. Is it? 5 to, yeah. So basically, it's part of my checklist that you should study LeetCode. Now, notice, here's one thing that I do differently than a lot of other people. I encourage you to start grinding LeetCode after you have started applying. Some people make this a blocker and say that you have to master LeetCode before you start applying. That's nonsense. LeetCode will improve your job search efficacy and it will open doors, but it is not required. So it's a good idea, but it's not required. And that's a nuance that I feel we continually lose in society. The fact that it is a good idea, but it is also not required is true of so many things. Consider, for example, the college degree. Is it required? No. Is it a good idea? Yes. What about LeetCode? Is it required? No. Is it a good idea? Yes. What about having a portfolio that has 4 projects instead of only 1 project? Is it required? No. Is it a good idea? Yes. What about having a portfolio at all? Technically, you can get a programming job with no portfolio. It's not required. It's also a good idea to have a portfolio. Ben says, how many programming languages do I need to know to be employable? Is Python enough? The answer is you only need 1 programming language. Yes, you can get a job with just Python. That's not the way that I recommend. I think there's other more optimal ways. But if you know Python very well, you can get a job with just that, yes. Thanks for the follows, y'all. Thanks for liking the video. Let's get it over 1,000. We're over 900. Quick reminder, you can go over to YouTube. The link is in my bio and see the full screen. My cool RGB background light if you go over there. Okay. I feel fairly confident that I've learned basic CSS. I feel fairly confident I've learned basic HTML, including forms and semantic HTML. Good. I joined the Discord, participating regularly and socially. And I'm going to add one more link here. And this will allow us to use our so-called deprecation text. So currently, none of these seed data use a detailed text. And this will also allow me to update to include the search video. What do you recommend re-languages? Well, I recommend you go over to Latterly. The link is in my bio, and I will give you a step-by-step checklist on how to learn to code and land a job. And you'll see that you start with, then you learn TypeScript and React. And so if you do this, you'll be able to become a full-stack developer. I talk about, I give the answer for this in a lot of places, but I should link it. It's dawning on me. React. I think I talk about it even in the trial by fire. Anyway, the answer is that full stack developer. Here you can see the Stack Overflow Developer Survey. You can pick the year that you like. We'll go for 2023 because it's current, but this is not a new trend. So go look for developer profile, developer roles, and here's what you don't want to do. You don't want to be stuck only on the front end, okay? And again, with the nuances, we keep losing the nuances. If you are only a front-end developer, you are in a trap, you are in a bad place. Front-end developers know JavaScript. Therefore, you should learn Python, not JavaScript, right? No, that's a non sequitur. So Python is a back-end language, yes, but now you're just stuck on this one. What you really should do is learn JavaScript and then go full stack. JavaScript is the only language that will let you do this. It is the only full stack language. So by learning JavaScript and continuing across the stack, you access the majority of programming roles that way. You can even come down here and be a mobile developer. I know mobile developers hate when I say this, but you can be a mobile developer with React Native. So really, you can, now you're not going to be able to access the full 3.4 because some of those will be insisting on Swift or something. But you'll get some of them. So this number here will be understating the number of jobs that you're qualified for. Jason says, woo, I know full stack. I'm on the MERN stack with Graph and Apollo. Let's go. Alex says, does full stack make more than back? No. So what are you optimizing for? Are you optimizing for salary alone, or are you optimizing for your job search probability? People to break into tech and land a programming role, I want to maximize the chance that they will obtain a job. I'm not trying to maximize the chance that they will obtain the single highest paying job. That's an incredibly difficult thing to do. Frankly, if you can get into big tech, no one cares whether you're full stack anymore. You're all making money. Everyone is making money in big tech. So the strategy here is land a programming role and then migrate up to big tech from there. Whether you migrate up as a full stack engineer, back-end engineer, or front engineer, it doesn't actually matter too much. Honestly, I think it's easier to get a back-end role in big tech than it is to get a front-end role. So I've been through the loops on both sides, and the front-end loop was more difficult for me. So you get leak code either way. They told me that they were going to give me like front-end problems, but what they did is they gave me a masked typological sort problem wrapped in promises. And so this was at Facebook, the Facebook front-end developer loop I had to do. And they basically gave refactored to use promises. And so it was harder. It wasn't easier. GMO says, Amazon offers full stack training. Any thoughts? You'll have to send me the link. I've tried to search. So I worked at Amazon. I've been an Amazon certified solutions architect. I'm pretty familiar. And I've specifically searched for Amazon education and development. And I did not find anything resembling a real course. I found a couple workshops, but they were like not real. Like they weren't comparable to a coding bootcamp or anything like that. They were just kind of like cute little workshops. So if they have a real full stack training, you'll have to send me a link and I'll have to read up on it. Senior Mr. T says, better to have a good life balance than a ton of money. I mean, you got a point. You got a point. Yeah, we shouldn't all be chasing money, right? IV Medic 11. I work as a nurse. Is there a type of tech where I can use my healthcare knowledge? Absolutely. Tech is in healthcare. Absolutely. Healthcare tech is huge. I used to work at Blue Cross. I mean, you can go be a programmer for Blue Cross, for example. Absolutely, yes. You can tremendously help medicine by getting involved in tech. I am TMAC. Any online courses you recommend? GMO says Amazon started to use Full Stack Academy. Do you just mean internally? I'm not sure what you mean. So Full Stack Academy is their own thing. They're not owned by Amazon. They may have partnered with Amazon. I'm not really sure what you're saying. I am TMAC. Yeah, there's some courses that I recommend. And the answer, if you sign up for Latterly, link in my bio, you will see step 3. I have executed a substantive web dev program, Coursera, Codecademy Pro, front end, a reputable bootcamp, or a Latterly mentorship. So these are the courses that I recommend. And if you want to get really specific with Coursera, it's the Meta front-end developer that I recommend. So this is the single best online course, but keep in mind that this pales in comparisons to a decent boot camp. So there's another like knowledge gap that a lot of people have is they think that online courses are comparable to coding boot camps. No, they're not. Coding boot camps are, in terms of the placement rate, coding boot camps, a good one, not your average one, but a good one, around 90% or higher. For the Meta Front-End Developer Certificate, which is one of the best MOOCs that exists, but MOOCs as a category are not good for placement. So the placement rate from this is around 25%. Careful what you wish for. I mean, you ask me for a good course, I'll tell you, but I just got to let you know that a good course, like you might not want to do an online. What's placement? The job placement rate is within 6 or 12. So some companies will measure it various ways, but usually 6 or 12 months is common. What percentage of their graduates have landed a programming role? So it's about actually getting a job. We got a ton of questions in the chat. I'm trying to actually get back to coding. So, hey, y'all, join the Discord and ask me on Discord. Where's the Discord? Link is in my bio. You can also drop a comment on any of my videos, and I'll try to get back to it after the stream. But I want to get back to actually coding. Thanks for being here, and tap the video if you are enjoying the stream. 030 says, so 90% get jobs after boot camp? The answer is yes, with a couple asterisks. The first asterisk is that is a high quality coding boot camp, not the average coding boot camp. Traversy Media promotes a boot camp you don't have to pay for until you get a job. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Traversy Media. And I'm also a fan of deferred payment and job guarantees. Absolutely. Anish, you might want to check some settings. Your YouTube stream hangs for a second every minute or so. Thanks for letting me know. Bummer. Okay, I need to update my my Wi-Fi. Okay, thanks for letting me know. Let's get back to coding, eh? List of best boot camps. Oh gosh, we keep getting off track, y'all. The answer is that you come over here to course report, you go to browse all schools, you sort by most reviewed, a coding boot camp that has over 400 reviews and a rating of 4.25 or higher. Lewagen is the best in the world. I don't think they have a US campus. For the United States, you want to consider Springboard and Career Foundry because these two are highly rated and they have a job guarantee. So again, the two that I currently recommend, and this is July 2023, Career Foundry and Springboard, as well as Latterly. So here is $9,900, okay? And you can do deferred payment and you can do a job guarantee. With me, it's less than that, I'll say. Let's do a one-on-one consultation and I'll tailor the pricing to your situation, but it's gonna be less than that, basically. Anish says, I went to Career Foundry. So Anish, how did it work for you? Do you have a job now? And what was your experience? Let me know in the chat. Quinta says, went to Lewagen. Don't know if it's the best, but it is solid. Quinta, where are you from? Are you American or were you at another country? Anish says, they have job guarantee, but most of them come with too many regulations that you have to follow, else you don't get a refund. This is a common practice, actually. Even for my own job guarantee, I do this. And the reason we do this is, as someone who is helping you get a job, I know the way that you can get a job. I know the things that you have to do to get a job. You have to apply certain places. You have to do social follow-up. You have to make sure your resume is optimized and your LinkedIn is optimized. Now, if you come to me and you say, hey, I followed your course, but I couldn't get a job, then that's on me. Like, I screwed up, right? But if you didn't do the course, then that's your fault, basically. Does that make sense? Like, that's really important. If you have students who are students who are failing the course, basically, and then they don't get a job, that's not what you're guaranteeing. What you're guaranteeing is if you pass the course, you'll get a job. Not if you fail the course, you'll get a job. So that's why those regulations have to be in place, basically. Keita says, I'm US, went to Montreal remote. Oh, interesting. And did that enable you to get a job? Google Recruiter says, my last hire came from Hack Reactor. We love to see it. Especially if you're an actual Google Recruiter, we love to see it. All right, thanks for all. Anish says, I've been a backend dev for a little over a year now. Great, and so it seems like Career Foundry also did work for you, yeah? So I don't want to put words in your mouth. Let me know if I'm off here. But it seems like, in addition to the research that I've done, it seems like we also have someone in the chat who's saying Career Foundry worked for them. All right, y'all. Please do follow up on the Discord with your questions. I'm trying to get back to coding. Thanks for being here. Make sure to tap the video on TikTok and give it a like if you are getting any benefit from this video. We have the script now, Control Z, Control Shift Z. So the detail text, what did I want to put here? I wanted to put the search video. So let's make sure that we go get the search video. New video on my YouTube just dropped today on search techniques. The single most important skill for a developer is search techniques. Before you write a single line of a Turing-complete programming language, you need to know how to search so that you can understand the places where you should go to learn. So people have been asking me, what is the best place to learn? Well, if you had the search techniques, you would be able to know the answer. So you should know search techniques before you even study HTML. And that is a gap that I see in a lot of learning curriculums. So that's one of the things that I am solving. Okay, so watched, not the trial by fire, but this will be watched search techniques, basically. Watched search techniques for coding. Really, that's the whole checklist item. Let's say, and tried using Claude, tried using and tried prompting a few times. Watched the video and tried prompting a few times. Let's just say, yeah. And tried applying some of the lessons. Anish says, in a different universe, if I had the same knowledge without the boot camp, I don't think I would have gotten the interview. Sad but true. This is a good point. Yeah, some people join a boot camp not to learn. Surprisingly, some people join a boot camp for enhanced career services and networking opportunities. And that's totally fine. You may have gone to college, you may have learned computer science fundamentals, but maybe your university has an ineffective career services. And that's a perfectly valid use case for a boot camp. One Bad Mini says, what have we here? We coding. Amanula says, what is the Discord name? Check the link in the bio. There's one if you go to my bio, there is one Discord mentioned there. Yeah, to your point, I should use that on this checklist item here as well, shouldn't I? Joined the Discord, and we will say the Latterly Discord. Joined the Latterly Discord, participating regularly and socially. Detail text. Why would you want to join the Discord, the Latterly Discord? Social. Social learning. So let's say social learning to improve outcomes, motivation, and will assist at job search networking time. Social networking and social learning improve outcomes motivation, and job search outcomes. I think that's a totally fine justification about why you should join the social community, right? Anish says, I was a civil engineer by education. We love the STEM. We love the STEM, don't we? Freakazoid says, your Prisma needs an upgrade. Maybe so. Hey, feel free to submit a pull request. It's open source. Cool. Why watch search techniques for coding? Search is a key developer skill that will enable you to overcome, solve errors, learn more effectively, and select and find places to apply and find job opportunities. How about that? Watch blank and applied some of the lessons. Anish says, gotta go. Hope you have a good rest of your stream. Thank you, Anish. Thank you for being here. Good to see you. Disponsible, does it show in the browser already? It sure does. Link is in my bio, laterally.io. Here's what prod looks like. One Bad Mini says a marketplace. I would not call it that. So in my mind, a marketplace has multiple buyers and multiple sellers. This does not currently have multiple sellers. I could enable like other teachers to use this as a marketplace platform, but currently it's just mine. Like I'm the only one teaching here currently. Okay, so this looks good. This looks good. Search techniques for coding. Watch the trial by fire and reproduced it. I have a GitHub portfolio with a vanilla JS and HTML I'll delete the single page. Vanilla JS and HTML blog hosted on GitHub pages. Good, very good. Thanks for the likes, y'all. Okay, so I think the new checklist is looking pretty good at this point. We've reviewed the code. Let's keep looking. I only reviewed it up to line 67 or so. There's the checklist ID, the display text. Yeah, that's good. Actually, we could just do it like that. That's equivalent. Here, what is the issue here? May only specify known properties and link text does not exist. Okay, I need to bust the type cache. So here we're going to blitz Prisma generate to bust the type cache. Now I'm scrolling up to click into node modules, control click the DB. That's an enhanced Prisma client. We'll go into the Prisma client itself. And when I blitz Prisma generate, it rewrote this file that we're in, this DTS file. This is a type definition file for TypeScript. And VS Code does caching on these node modules. So VS Code was not aware that this file changed, but by control clicking into it, I force reloaded it and I force broke the type cache. And so now we can see link text should be here. So now we can see here in this file, link text does exist because it's freshly built off that schema file. And let me close these out. Whenever I go back now, the error should be gone. Yeah, so the error, wait, I was looking down here. Yeah, so the error is gone. The code here did not change. Just the VS Code awareness of the type definition changed. One Bad Mini says, what languages do you work in? In my day job, I mostly work in Python. There's a little bit of Rails, a little bit of Ruby. Yeah, but it's mostly Python in my day job. Control-Shift-P reload window would work too, right? Maybe. I'm not sure. Display text, again, we don't need that. Link URI, we don't need any of these. I can collapse these. This is an ECMAScript feature. Whenever the key and the value are the same name, you can just collapse them like so. Cool. I think this is looking good. It's time to no, I'm just kidding. It's time to run the seed file. npm run, is it seed? Now I'm psyching myself out. Isn't it just seed? Let me look at my package.json to see what my scripts are available. Update in place. Okay, I always forget. So the ordinary seed would create all new checklists. That's like a safe non-mutating operation. It's an append-only operation. But I actually do want to intentionally mutate this time. Quinta, does it ever get easier to switch between languages? That's my struggle right now. The answer is yes, it does. Yes, it does. Oh, and Martian Marvel also says yes. I totally agree. Quick reminder, y'all, if you're on TikTok, you can go over to YouTube and see the full screen. Checklist item not found. Oh, let's see. I fixed my regular checklist, but let's fix the premium checklist. So here's this. There is an additional item that needs to be there. This thing. Let's go over to ChatGPT and it can help me do this again. I was trying to figure out how to word things. I want, oh, okay. Here is a legacy checklist.json. Update let's update this in 2 ways. If an item includes a URL, make it an object with a link, link text. If an item says or decided to skip, then make it not is required. I think it kind of screwed that ballpark. Control A, Control V. So here is the link text, link URI. Use LinkedIn Premium. And I'll say learn more about LinkedIn Premium. Okay. So we're going to inject that link right there. It's just going to say learn more about LinkedIn Premium. Completed a job search kickoff session. Let's get rid of that link text. I'll just say or decided to skip it. Okay, and then it has the is required false or decided to skip it. is required, false. Okay, so otherwise this looks good. Found a mentor. This looks good. Jake says, nice honk. Poopy says, I've returned. Thanks for being here. Engineering Advanced, thank you for the follow. Grindelslaw, thanks for the follow. Andrew M, thank you for the follow. What language? We're working in TypeScript. Brad, thanks for the follow. Andrew says, why not href? So this is a URI because it might not include the protocol. So it could just be a substring like a path. Shushan says, I've never heard of Prisma. That's fine. It's an ORM in TypeScript world. What language is your, do you know any programming languages? Like, you might have heard of like Hibernate in Java or something like that. Laravel has its own ORM built in. Rails includes an ORM because it includes everything, doesn't it? Why Prisma over Hasura? Isn't Hasura a database? I don't think Hasura is even an ORM. Quick reminder, y'all, you can go to YouTube. The link is in my bio, and you can see the full screen. And you can also see my cool RGB lights in the background if you do that. Hasura is wrapped for GraphQL. Yeah, well, I don't want to deal with GraphQL. So I'm using, okay, are we going to get in a GraphQL argument? I'm using Blitz. Look at this, blitz.js. So Blitz has its own, I'm not tightly coupling myself to GraphQL. So maybe that answers the question for you. Watermelon with lime says, I like prisons. I think that was a typo. This is the wrong stream for that. Okay, so what did I do? What I did is I altered the advanced programming checklist right. I want to do this one more time. I have updated the checklist.json as follows. Now I want to add one more checklist item. What would be a good item for a student to have on their checklist? The goal of this checklist is for a student to learn to code and land a programming job. Give 2 ideas about items I could add. I'm asking it to give 2 ideas, then I will ask it to reflect on its own idea, and tell you which one is better and why. Is Next.js always server-side rendering? The answer is no. It supports all 3 rendering modes. SSG, SSR, and CSR. It can do it all. Alan, thanks for sharing the live. Hey, make sure to tap the video if you're liking the video so that it'll give it a like, and then TikTok will share the video around. Okay, so 1 says, contribute to an open source project relevant to your desired role. This can demonstrate practical experience and teamwork. It's a good idea, but it's already in the standard checklist. Prepare and practice for technical interviews. This can include whiteboard coding, problem solving, and understanding data structures and algorithms. Good. Good. I like the one talking about, let's update it to specifically recommend using interviewing.io. Okay. Cool, that's fine. So we can add that. If you're going to use interviewing.io, when would you want this to be? Found a mentor, achieved kata time. So it would be somewhere in this range. For a minimum of 4 weeks, probably before that. This is not strictly in order. It's not like A blocks B, but I do intend it to be generally in order. Okay. Now I will tell it about the other one. I was thinking about something like the below. Do you think a candidate... Okay. I was thinking about something like the below. Can you improve it? This is kind of a brainstorm dump. We can make 1 or 2 well-formed items out of it. What is the error? There is no error. Send me your GitHub. Are you talking to me? Or are you talking to someone else in the chat? My GitHub is in my bio. Feel free to check it out. Sure, I can help with that. It looks like you're trying to convey 2 primary ideas. Students should aim to become full-stack developers with a focus on TypeScript and differentiate themselves by gaining additional skills or experiences. Bro, you worded that so well. Thank you. Students should aim to develop T-shaped skills, meaning they have a broad base of general skills to specific areas. So pro. Master full stack development with a focus on TypeScript. Distinguish yourself by gaining additional expertise, testing UI frameworks, design libraries, participating in a hackathon. Or, I'm so glad it used the keyword or. And then it wants the full stack engineer career path from Codecademy. I'm going to swerve on that, but otherwise I like it. Again, this will go before the 4 weeks because in theory, you're building these skills even before you hit the 4-week mark, although it's not strictly required. And I don't want to use the word master. Let's say developed full stack experience, obtained full stack development experience, gained full stack development experience. And I won't say with a focus on TypeScript, I will say with TypeScript. Distinguished yourself or myself? Distinguished myself by gaining additional experience in testing UI frameworks, design libraries, participating in a hackathon, or, again, not mastering. We're not here to master. We're just here to gain enough skills to land a job. Or advanced Git operations like feature branching, pull requests, and GitHub Actions. I really love the GitHub Actions. If you come at me, if you're a junior and you come at me with GitHub Action skills, I'm like, ooh, I could actually use them. Abbott Skinny says, so basically TypeScript. Yeah, TypeScript is big. Medi says, are you getting codes from the AI? Kind of. I mean, this is data. It's not exactly code, but yeah, I mean, kind of. Develop T-shaped skills by specializing in TypeScript with broad knowledge in other areas such as testing, SEO, accessibility, data visualization, or DevOps. These valued skills will set you apart in your programming career. Developed. I want this to be an action that's been completed. Developed T-shaped skills by specializing in TypeScript. Okay. Okay, cool. Yeah, so basically I am suggesting specializing in full stack TypeScript. That's pretty much generally true. And then the question is sort of the leaves of the T. The leaves of the T. There's a double meaning there. I love it. Other areas such as testing, SEO, accessibility. So I don't want the overlap with testing here. I want it to be like you have two different skills basically. So let me drop testing here. SEO, good. Accessibility, data visualization, or DevOps. Now the Git operations and the DevOps do overlap. Here I will say, or advanced GitOps, DevOps, like feature branching pull requests and GitHub, feature branching pull requests, GitHub Actions. I don't even want to say that. I'm just going to say advanced DevOps or GitOps because there's really like a whole lot there, and I'm not going to list it all out. Okay, so now they're sort of more exclusive. Testing UI frameworks, design libraries, participating in a hackathon, or advanced DevOps or GitOps. Participating in a hackathon really doesn't belong there. I'll just add participated in a hackathon. Participated in a hackathon. Or Hacktoberfest. Is required no. Is required false. But that's going to be a good thing to do, and it's a great talking point at interview time. What's he making? What's he cooking? The answer is Latterly.io. Here's the website. Link is in my bio. This is a website that helps people learn to code and land a programming role. Specifically, I'm improving this standard checklist as well as the premium checklist. So here's the standard checklist. All right, so we reseeded already, but I need to update. This is incorrect. We reseeded already, but I need to update the UI code so that those links are injected. Let me empty cache and hard reload. Pac-Man clone, LOL. This should not look like this. This should be gone. Oh, because the text is different, so it thinks it's a different item. Got it, got it, got it. So my seed script needs to get updated. I need to prune irrelevant checklist items. Prune irrelevant checklist items. All right, let's do one more reseed here. I'm gonna go ahead so that we get these premium checklist items into the database. Here's npm run update seed in place. Copy this on my clipboard. Cool, and I'll go ahead and commit this, and this is going to be feature some optional item props. Okay, so what do I want to do now? I want to update the UI code here, and I want to prune irrelevant checklist items. So now there are 22 items here. Let's just go ahead and confirm. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. So there should be, so there are a few items here that shouldn't be here, and the reason is we're updating in place, and the system is finding items based on the display text. And so watched link is a different display text from watch the trial by fire, even though they're supposed to be the same item, but the system can't understand that. So the way that I can solve this is I can either straight up delete this checklist item, or I can at least delete my checklist pointer to that checklist item. So what I'm trying to think about is the future case where someone has solved an old checklist. And the question is like, well, what's on that old checklist? Ah, good. So I want to delete checklist items that are not referenced by any checklist. If they're referenced by even one, then we'll preserve it. Okay, so I want to write a utility script. Here, let me give it a reference utility script. Here's delete unused checklists. I want to write a utility script that deletes any checklist item that is not referenced by a checklist. Consider the below existing utility script, or use the existing utility script as a reference. Use the following as a reference. Then implement the new script. Abbott, thanks for the follow. Lil Dicky, what's up? Bro, is that the real Lil Dicky? What's up, what's up? We're coding out here. Delete unused checklists. I'm making a new script. This is called delete unused checklist items.js. Paste it, save it. We're going to review this line by line, and then we will make a package.json script that uses it. So we grab the local environment variables, that's good. Set up the Prisma, and down here the catch and throw looks good. So now we only have to worry about the interior. Checklist item cleanup completed, that's a good console log. Deleted checklist item, that's a good console log. So now I only have to worry about these logical lines right here. Joshua, thanks for the follow. Cool. So first of all, we get all the checklist items. Potentially, I could improve this. I could ask it to only get the checklist items that have a checklist ID, but is that a required field? So let's look in the Prisma schema, checklist item, checklist ID. Okay, it's a required field, so they're all going to be there. All right. So we have literally all the checklist items. So how do I know that a checklist doesn't reference you? If you all have a checklist ID, how do I know that a checklist doesn't reference you? The answer is that I shouldn't go by ID. I should go by version. I should go by version. Yeah, okay. So here on this checklist.json, there's a version. I need to attach that to checklist items. So let me ask GPT, isn't the checklist ID a required field on the checklist item? Doesn't that mean that this script will never delete any records? You're correct. It's required. That means that it can't exist. Okay. However, it's possible that a checklist was deleted without deleting its associated items. Okay. So it cleans up orphans. Okay. I would like... Does it still have the seed script in memory? How long ago was that? It remembers my schema fragment from up here, so it's still got to have my seed file in memory. Update, let's see. Let's update the seed script and the Prisma schema so that a checklist item gets a version field. This way, I can purge items that have a checklist ID in the case where they are using an old version, an obsolete version. So it wants me to add a default 1.0.0 version string. This is actually going to be my default version string right here. Running that migration. While that spins, let's read up over here. Oh, and it wanted to add a Unique display text checklist ID. I like that. Oh, it's already there. Okay, whatever. Enter a name for the new migration. Versioned checklist items. Next, we need to update the seed file. Okay, so let me just grab this and then I can throw it on top and diff it. AVS, click over here, tap, right click, close others. And it's just letting me see the diff here. Okay, we're gonna get rid of that redundant stuff, right? It's not changing any of these. These are just redundant. Okay, so what actually changed is the version. And that's, yeah, it's just literally just passing the checklist version. Good, that's all I want it to do. The system is mad because it doesn't know that I changed the type. It doesn't know that I changed the type, so we have to do bust the cache again. Okay, and now that I did that, it's fine. Okay, so now we're passing down the version string. Let's go over to the database. We can see, let's refresh this. So we should have a version column now, and there we go, and they're all defaulted. That's looking good. Let's also make sure we only have 3 checklists. Yep, we only have 3 checklists, and here are all the checklist items for the 3 checklists. Okay, so given this situation, run the update seed in place. I should get updated version strings that only use the latest JSON. So I expect to have 2 different version strings values in that column when this completes. What programming language? This is TypeScript. You can see the .ts file at the top there. Okay, done seeding, and I got no errors this time, so that's perfect. Remember last time, checklist item not found kept happening. That didn't happen this time. Good, that's what I'm looking for. So now, do I need to refresh my page or anything like that? Okay, so now I can see that I have different values. There's some are saying 718, some are saying 719. And there should only be a few cases that are old, meaning they say 718. And those should be the ones that I do want to delete. For example, joined the Discord is old, joined link is new. Good. And we can see they're duplicates, and so I'm going to drop one of the duplicates. The old one has an empty detail text, the new one has, old one has no link text. This is looking pretty sexy, y'all, honestly. Pro tip, Prisma has an upsert method to do update or create. Thanks, Nicholas. Is there any reason that I could use the upsert? I'm struggling to think of any reason that I should not use the upsert. Cool. Yeah, so I'm going to do this commit, and then I might refactor this into an upsert in a second step. Okay, so here, let me not stage the delete unused checklist items. Here, I'm just going to feat versioned check items. commit that. Now let's make a package script. And so we have db clean, delete unused checklists, and delete unused checklist items. So this will be within the existing db clean command. And let's see if GPT understands the following. Update the delete unused checklist items.js file to remove both orphans and also obsolete checklist items. I don't like this term of obsolete checklist items. If it's used by an old checklist, then it shouldn't be deleted. We want to delete it if it's not used at all. Okay. Oh, if the version doesn't match. Update delete unused checklist items to remove both orphans where the checklist doesn't exist, and also stale records where the checklist item or where the checklist does exist, but the version of the checklist doesn't match. What are you coding for? Laterally.io, link is in my bio. So basically a personal project where people can go learn to code and land a programming role. Okay, so we grab this. This is going to be the utility script. Yep. So this is the same one. Let me stage it, and then I will save this so we can see the diff. And here we see, it used to say if the checklist is not there. Now it's saying if the checklist is not there or the version doesn't match. Perfect. Really simple update. Okay, so we're going to stage these. I'm going to run it now. So let's npm run db clean. So we deleted 3 items. Good. Now, those items which got deleted should be the, one of them should be the Discord, the link that has Discord in the display text. Looks like it got deleted to me. Now Discord is in the link text instead. Perfect. So let's look in the UI here. Now this is looking good. There are only 19 of these. Good. So that matches the seed file. I might have also purged, yeah, I also purged an unused checklist. So let's go ahead and seed in place. Oh no, this is bad news bears. Look. My backup script doesn't support the objects. So that's goofy. So let me discard this change in the checklists.json. I also have ruined my premium checklist. Somehow it didn't. That's really interesting. I think the reason that it didn't is because I deleted the premium checklist out of the database. Okay, so I want a utility script. I have the backup checklists. Here it is. And I need to update this to support the new structure of the JSON file. Let's go over to GPT. I have a checklist backup utility script shown below. It only supports string checklist item syntax in the checklist.json file. Let's update it to support both the string case and the object case. Let's give it the name backup checklists.json. .js, isn't it? .js. So how can we validate this, that this works? What is the test case we have in mind? The test case I have in mind is when I when I run dbclean, it will prune the unused checklists, and it should do so in a way that heals this checklist.json. That's what I'm expecting. So I'll scan this quickly, but basically, I'll scan this code quickly, but basically I am going to lean on the test more than anything else. So it dropped the surrounding code. Let's restore the surrounding code. Okay, so we restored the surrounding code, and now this is the crux of what it did. If all these things are empty, render it in the string format. Otherwise, let's use the complex format. Ideal. It's optimal. Do you have any vids on YouTube? I like how real this is. I have hella vids on YouTube. Thank you for the question. So this is part, what is it, 13 of a series. The series is called Building Laterally. Yep, so it's this video series right here. Oh, I got a bug on my screen. You see that? Ew, go away, bug. Yeah, so you can see me like integrate Stripe and everything. What front-end framework are you using? We're using Next.js. Good questions. Thanks for being here. Subscribing now. Thank you so much. Glad to see you. Gravel says, can anyone learn to code? The answer is no. But the answer is also that the vast majority of people who would like to learn to code can do so. So it's not true that anyone can learn to code. It's also true that the vast majority of people that would like to learn can do so. So if you're interested, give it a shot. Okay, so what's going on? So we have this backup checklists. It's looking good. I'm staging it. And my test case is that if it works properly, then this change should discard itself. I shouldn't need to manually discard it. So this is a malformed backup, basically. This is no good. Did I do this wrong? I shouldn't have this at in parentheses over here. Let me look on the left side. No, this is like no good. Okay, we'll give it a shot and then we can manually fix it if we need to. But ideally, it just fixes itself. Okay, right. I wish it would. Let's db clean. Heyo, did it kind of work? Looks like it kind of worked. It kind of worked except the parts that didn't work. Is required true. Okay, so it's storing extra properties, but it's not storing incorrect properties. And then it's ordering them. Why is it ordering them like that? Why is it at the bottom? Oh, that's just how my script wrote it, isn't it? Okay, let me go check on the script. That's going to bug me so much. Also, I don't need the comments. Thanks, I appreciate the comments, I just don't need them. Okay, yeah, it's just, this is how it did it. This needs to be in alphabetical order or I'm going to lose my mind. So detail text needs to definitely come before A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I. Definitely needs to be up at the top there. Right? That's the vibe, right? Whew. Almost had a panic attack. Okay. Quick reminder, y'all, if you go to YouTube in my bio, you can see the full screen. I'm currently streaming over there. What am I doing? I'm inspecting the checklist.json. Right click, close others, and I'm going to npm run dbclean again, and it should quiet some of the diff. Not the whole thing, but some of it will be quieted. Good. So now the detail text is up top. HIJKL. I should have fixed that. That's on me. The letter I comes before the letter L. So that's on me. Okay. Cool. What else? Optional, I have volunteered, so that should not exist anymore. Joined the Discord, participating. So what we've done is we have revived bad data, basically, is what we've done. And I think this will be a one-time manual fix, and then going forward, I should have no need for the manual fix in the future. So yeah, let's do the one-time manual fix. I got a lot of what I wanted, but it's not pruning the ones that I don't want anymore. So I'll prune them by hand, and I think I will not need to do this again, but we'll test that, of course. So join the Discord. We're going to delete you. Bye. Watch the trial by fire. We're going to delete you. Bye. And then this one that says optional like so, we're going to delete that. These remaining items, there should be 19. We can go ahead and count them by hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Cool. So there's 19 of them. Now I'm going to stage this. Bam. Let's close others. And now I'm going to update seed in place and prune, and we should see no diff this time. Okay, so these are two checklists that were previously unpopulated. Let me double check on the integrity of the premium checklist. This looks good to me. It's backing it up redundantly. That's not necessary, but I'm not mad about it and I don't care. I'd rather have redundant backups and then I can kind of reduce them by hand. Okay, so now let's db clean. It should delete the two unused checklists. One is the premium checklist. And I should get no checklist.json diff. Nope, this is bad. This is bad news bears. So why is this coming back from the dead? But I bet it doesn't exist in the database. I think it's creating the backup before it does the delete operation. That would make sense. So let's look at the checklist items. Right, so it exists in my git diff because it's making a local backup before it deletes on the DB, but it doesn't actually exist here in the DB. Let me even refresh the page. This is fine. This just means that the manually resolving my local is the existing workflow, and I think that's fine. I'm fine with that. Okay, so then the only diff is the timestamp on the version. That's fine. So what is the feature here? The feature is this is kind of like a fix, basically. Fix backup checklists. Now I do want to seed one more time so that we can have the premium checklist. Yeah, we can set the upstream. That's fine. We're getting close to pull requesting. Isn't that exciting? So we only got to one of the topics. Isn't that how it goes? We only got to one of the topics today, but that's okay. This is good. Let me check the database. Here I looked at the list of checklists. There's only one, so I need to reseed. Let me make sure that I only have one of these completed or decided to skip it. Hackathon or Hacktoberfest. So is it going to generate 4 different lists? I don't want all 4 of them. I can just use the most recent. That should be good enough. So there's 719, 719 T05, 719 T0522, T05, 719 T0540. So I think just that one then. So now if I look by name, I should see one result. There's only one result. Good deal. And we can verify this one still talks about Hacktoberfest in the complex object form. This looks good. Are there big differences between Angular, Vue, Next, React, seeing as it's good? There are big differences, yes. That being said, many employers will overlook them. So if you know Angular, for example, many employers will believe that you can learn Vue or Next or React on the job. And that's pretty much true. So even though there are big differences, they are not really interview blockers. You're going to have to work through them. Take you a few sprints, maybe even a few months to get used to them. This does not look good. Okay. The parentheses is redundant, so let's get rid of that. Okay, so we have basically the same over-preserving problem. That's okay. I'd rather have over-preserving than missing data. So I'd rather be defensive, basically. So I'm not super broken up about this. I think we fixed it by hand. Okay, salary, if you don't mind me asking, my total comp is 370K. Okay, so we are going to reseed, and then this time I want the UI code to be fixed, basically. This is my basic checklist page. "76 lines, I guess that's fine. I don't need to do the whole page. I can just grab this one component. That will be more efficient from a LLM token perspective. So currently it's just writing the display text there. Checklist items needs to be a checklist item array. I need to define that type. Cool, that's good. The checklist item rendering code in two ways. One, the refetch argument type needs to be type should not be any. Two, we need to build a next.js link. And if the link text exists with a link URI and substring. Replace the substring with the link component. The legacy checklist rendering code is below. What program are you making exactly? You can check the link in my bio. The answer is laterally.io. It's right here. This is prod. And this is a website that teaches people to learn to code. Hey, by the way, you can sign up for free. It's open source. It's better than free. But also, if you don't mind supporting the channel with as little as $1 a month, you unlock additional benefits like the advanced checklist access. And you also contribute to a community bounty. So you're helping other people that can't afford it, basically. Also, this month only, I do a complimentary 30-minute session for as little as $1 a month. Usually I charge like $100 for that. So be sure to check that out. All right, cool. Start by updating the type of refetch checklist from any to a void function. Cool. And we're using dangerously set enter HTML. I think we have to. I don't know a different way to do it. Now this is using a href. Let me see, did you know that, let me go get a link component. Let's use instead of I might have just confused it because I think that's from beyond the knowledge cutoff. So this might be a case where I should fix it by hand. Here I'll control A, V, S. I'm clicking here to view the diff, right click, close others. That was a terrible idea because it only fixed the one function. So let me go grab all the other code that I just nuked. Control C, drop a click, Control V, Control S. We have the void type. Good. Here is the map. We're doing a display text replacement here. And this is the tricky part. So in this case, it's a static HTML string, so I can dangerously set enter HTML. But what if I want to re-render a component subtree? I could create a span prior and posterior. That might be better. Let's take a look at what GPT-4 says. I think I would opt for that strategy. Okay, you're absolutely correct. For routing a Next.js application, it's better to use LINQ. However, when rendering dynamic content in React, it's important to note that JSX doesn't directly support injecting components this way. We can split display text by, then map. Is it going to do exactly what I said? It's going to create sibling components. It's using a map. I didn't think about a map. I was thinking about 3 discrete components. But that's okay. It's running a map. And I think it will always be a length of 3, but like, that's fine. So I'm copying this. Checklist item list. Yep, yeah, that's the name of it. So paste over that. I don't really understand why we are using React.fragment instead of just fragment. I'm going to call this just fragment. Let's see if this works. Yeah. Cool, because we're already importing suspense. So for consistency, let's do it like that. I think this is pretty good. I think there's a problem where it's assuming that it's assuming this substring is here. I'm going to call this magic link substring. In general, we really don't like magic substrings, but this is like a special case where we actually need one. Legit. Okay, so here, there should be an if statement. If link text and link URI and index, so basically this check this is not optimal. Else return part. So it's splitting it every time, even if it doesn't exist. What if it doesn't exist in there? Actually, that's fine. So if I take the string foo and if I split it on bar, I should get an array that just contains foo. Let's test it out. Here's node foo dot split bar, and I just get an array that contains foo. So that is totally fine. There's an interesting case where the magic link is there, but link URI and link text are not filled out. What will happen? It will return an empty string, and I'm totally okay with that. So now I think we want to start the server, npm run dev. This looks good. I'm going to go ahead and stage it. One other thing that I want to do is add an additional page. This will be my premium checklist.tsx. In this case, we want to look for the name advanced. Oh, I used the same name twice. My bad. Gucci. It's going to take a minute to hot load. Good news, the build is working. This has an authentication check on it, but it also needs to check permission to view. The premium. So where would that be? Under subscriptions or role? I think we want to see if you are, yeah, if you have the payment tier enum. So the default is free. Any of the other tiers should be able to access my premium checklist. Get user. There should be like a get logged in user. Get current user. Okay, yeah, so we have get current user and use current user. Use current user is what's going on over here when we check the top nav content good. So this is the one that I want to use then. This is basically a hook. Thanks for the follow, Joseph. So this is a hook that allows me to go to the settings page or log out. By the way, the settings page, I don't want to show the form at all right now. I'll put a to-do on there. And that's number, that is number 53. So for now, it will just be comment. I will have a note that says, please email john@laterally.io to update your subscription tier. So we're going to have to do it by hand for now, basically. We go here, settings, edit setting 1. I don't like that it says edit setting 1. Edit settings. Please email john@laterally.io to update your subscription tier. Okay, so this is like a quick fix. Let me unstage the checklist. We were doing a different thing basically in the meantime. Fix, quick fix, settings page. Now we go back home. So here we can complete the standard checklist. Here I want to view the premium checklist. Here we will say, as a paid member, you can access the it's called the advanced checklist right here. Advanced checklist here. As a paid member, you can access the advanced checklist. Okay, so I only want to display this if they are a paid member. Here is a user. It has a role property. So I need a different query, basically. So here's a user hook. I want to copy this and paste this here. I'm going to rename this. This is use premium, or use tier. Use subscription level. I like that. Use subscription level. I'm going to get the subscription model in the payment tier enum. And let's have a chat with GPT-4. Consider the following Prisma fragment. So there is the payment tier enum. We also have the subscription. And we also have the user. Write a React hook called use subscription level that returns the object for the current user with their maximum. So the problem is that I don't really have a concept of maximum here. Because it's an enumeration, it doesn't really show like among these. There's not really an ordering between these three. So as a business owner, I know that premium is a higher tier compared to pay what you can. But from a data model perspective, that is not enshrined. Does that make sense? What I can do is I can say free or non-free. Write a React hook called use subscription level that returns a user object for the current user and a value for payment tier enum. Representing the current user's lowest permission tier, subscription tier. The way the value is calculated is as follows. The system should loop through all user subscriptions and return free if any subscription has the free value. This is really not ideal, but we're going to do this for now. Really what should happen is if they're paying at all, they're paid. If in return free if all subscriptions for the user have a value. This is very tricky. This is very tricky. It's really not. I'm just too tired. Okay. The way the system should loop through all of the descriptions and return premium if any subscription has that value. Otherwise, return pay what you can if any subscription has that tier value, and otherwise return free. I don't know that I explained that well, but we'll see. It knows to use the use current user. That's great. Cool. I think it got it. All right. Oh, see, it assigns a number to the tiers. That's pretty smart. I don't know if I can do that within Postgres. Pay what you can is not assignable to type premium. Okay, fix the type there. Looks good to me. The only thing off is this one. Subscriptions does not exist on there. Bummer, bummer. Why does subscription not exist on there? User. Why is it saying that this is the type? Can I do this? Roles, string, ID, number. Name, email. Where is it coming up with this? I don't understand. Ah, because we only select these items. Okay, so like why? Why are we only selecting those items? I don't want to expose the Stripe customer ID to the UI is the reason. Does anyone know what he's making? Hey Samuel, the answer is Laterally.io. You can visit the website right now. Here it is in prod. Link is also in my bio. And currently we are working on, here's the localhost form, the advanced checklist. And I'm making a permission gate so that only premium users can get to it. And so that's what we're trying to do right now. We're checking whether the current user is a premium tier or not. Right, so the solution seems straightforward enough. We need to add subscriptions. Does that take care of things? Now we have the subscription access. I don't need this. Good, and now I have use subscription level. So now I go to my index, right click, close others. As a paid member, you can access the advanced checklist. I want to say is paid. Are you paid? You paid like that? Cool, so is paid doesn't exist currently, so we'll go create that. Do I need a suspense block for that? I think I do. All right, so this will be inside of a suspense block. Fallback will just be empty. I don't think I need to specify a fallback at all if it's an empty fallback. So let's just not. Thanks for the following, Atlas. Thanks for the follow. So we have this use subscription level. What it's ultimately going to return is their subscription tier, the user and the tier. And then they are paid if their tier is not free. So this might break the app. Let's take a look. Unhandled. Subscriptions should never be empty. That seems broken. Okay, well, we can say if you don't have any subscriptions, then count that as free. Is it nullable though? Subscriptions, like it should always at least be an empty field, right? Oh, it's not plural. That's on me. I think it's time for me to go to sleep. Subscription of user subscriptions. So we'll change this from subscription to cur subscription. Did you mean subscriptions? Okay, well now you're telling me that. Here's the subscription. Oh, that's the subscription change. I'm looking at the wrong object. So where's the user? So here's the user. The user has subscriptions. Okay. All right, so then subscriptions should always exist, even if it's linked to 0. So what was the error? Did I read the error message incorrectly? Rendering suspense fallback error. Okay. Yeah, so if I comment these, the error goes away. Is that right? Well, now it says is paid doesn't exist. That's fine. That's true. Yep. Okay, so the issue is the way I implemented the suspense. That makes sense. So I should break out this component basically. This is going to be const advanced checklist entry point. Advanced checklist paragraph, advanced checklist link container, section. Content block. There we go. Laterally helps content block. So we'll call this the advanced checklist content block. Okay. Just like this other content block, okay, it's a stateless function. Now I'm grabbing this, drop it in there. And this whole thing will go inside of suspense, and that makes more sense. Advanced checklist content block. Okay. React or Vue? We're using React. What are you making? We are working on laterally.io. I've spent a combined total of 39 hours just deciding on variable names. Ooh, it's a rough L. Adam, you need a louder keyboard. Good call, Adam. I'll work on that. Thanks for being here, y'all. Okay, so it properly hid it from me. Now I'm going to go into the database and force my own eligibility. And we will confirm that that works. So let me go over to this database over here. User. You can go sign up for free right now. And you can also access the advanced checklist for as little as $1 a month. Okay, so I have my user. Now what am I doing? Now I need to link a subscription, basically. Okay. I guess I can just manually insert it into this. So here's the ID and user ID and tier. That's it. Let's insert a row. User ID, I don't know. What's my user ID? Let me go check. I'm not telling you what my user ID is, but I know what it is now. Bam. Now I have all the permissions. Let's see if it worked. Oh, did you see that? Even before I hit the refresh button, it already worked. Okay, I think there's some sort of like database push. So let me disable it. I'm not touching the keyboard. No? Did I hallucinate? All right, y'all. I think I hallucinated. Sorry about that. If I refresh, though, it's... Yeah. Oh, it's when I clicked back onto the page. Okay. I'm going to click back onto the page. And it... Okay, I got it. When I click back on it and activate the page, it pulls it. It pulls it again. So yeah, now I can access this page. This is the wrong URL. So I just need to change the URL. So instead of my basic checklist, now it's my premium checklist, okay? Generic checklist not found, that's fine. Also, I want this to not be target blank. Boom. Standard checklist, here it is. Advanced checklist over here. It's actually working well. Okay. So, it's like that's like an old call to action, so I'll delete that. So here I click for the premium checklist, generic checklist not found. Okay. The issue is that there is no user checklist. So there's the premium generic, but there's no user checklist. Okay, so how can I fix that? Let me open up the premium. Page. Here's my premium checklist. Advanced programming job checklist. Here's the checklist. And it doesn't exist. Good. Okay, so I need to reseed. So here we go. npm run seed. Let me stage all my files first. I should not have done that. Dang, I screwed that up. I should have seeded in place. Let me also make sure on build, what does it do? On build, it doesn't seed at all. Good, that's good news. So now I think I have 4 checklists when I wanted 3, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah, okay. All right, let's npm run db clean. So this is an overly defensive process. So it generates this checklist.json diff. And I can just discard that. It doesn't matter. And I think it also mutated my premium checklist JSON. It gives me a second entry that I don't want. But that's okay. I can just delete it. Which of these is newer? I'm probably going to get, I don't know. I think this one's newer, so I'll delete it. Okay, I think we're back in a good state now. Now I want to npm run seed in place. Okay. That is good. Let me also add a note. I'm not going to get to it tonight. I was kind of thinking I might get to it tonight, but then I didn't, so that's fine. Knees Bees, thanks for the follow. Okay, so we have reseeded, and I think now I should be able to see this page. Yay! So this is the premium checklist. Learn more about LinkedIn Premium. So the link is here. And it kind of works, but it's goofy. Look. Okay. Since we're here, let's go ahead and fix it. It should open in a new tab. Is hopefully going to fix the issue. It might not fix the issue, but hopefully it will. So we have our checklist assembler. Okay, we're currently duplicating it on both files. Basic checklist. Here is the link. And then here we can say target is blank. Also, I want this style to be, I want it to stick out somehow. I'll just do font weight bold. This is like the very lazy way that I'm doing this right now, just because I'm tired. In theory, I should do like some nice Tailwind styles or something. Okay, so the links are bold. I can do some Tailwind styles here. Use Tailwind style so that the link appears bold and do I want it bold or do I want it a different color? Let's take a look. I'm going to go for bold. What language is it? Python? No, it's TypeScript. Where are you if late? It's 8:35 in South Africa. Yeah, I'm on the east coast of the US. It's 2:30 in the morning. Use Tailwind style so that the link appears bold and is underlined when hovered. Oh, that's smart. Good, I think this looks good. Okay, laterally discord search techniques for coding. Did it check or uncheck it? Yeah, it's doing both. Cancel bubble. Handle item. Here's the handle item click. So I can move the check onto the checkbox itself. But I actually like the fact that you can click the whole thing. And so I'd like to give this a cancel bubble. Can we add a cancel bubble click handler? Stop propagation. All right. So when this happens, when I click it now, it should not check. So let's watch this box, right? I click it. Oh, now it's not doing that at all. Error updating checklist item. Okay, that was just a lag or something. Okay, so I click it, I check it, I uncheck it. This is when I'm clicking on the text. When I click on the link, I do not want it to be checked. Click on the link, it was not checked. So we canceled the propagation. Good, that's ideal. I work on Python. I thought this was like a different library for Python. Well, thanks for being here, but no, this is TypeScript. You can see the file is a .tsx file. That is React with TypeScript. Currently, I'm duplicating this code, and I'm fine with that because I want to go to sleep. So I will just duplicate it some mo, throw some mo. And now it's also in the premium checklist, so we can confirm that the premium checklist has these links, and we can click them, and things are great. Cool. Yeah, so thanks for tuning in. I think we're going to leave it there for tonight. And this would be feature premium checklist and link style. I don't know. I think I did some other stuff too, but that works. All right, thanks for being here. Don't forget to the page, and I'll see you next time.